Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our Ombudsman, Samuel Martires, as well as our COA Chairperson, Gamaliel Cordoba, and also the members of the COA and the Office of Ombudsman delegation. We will begin with the presentation of the different departments, and then we will open the floor for questions in order of arrival, beginning with the Senate leadership. May I ask the Secretariat to please read the names of our resource persons present.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Your Honors, and to all our guests. Allow me to introduce our resource persons present in today's budget briefing. To our resource persons, if your name is called, please raise your hand so the senators can identify where you are seated. From the Commission on Audit, Chairperson Gamaliel A. Cordoba, Commissioner Roland Pondoc, Commissioner Mario G. Lipana, Assistant Commissioner Marta Roxana Sese, Assistant Commissioner Adela Dondonilla, Assistant Commissioner Alexander Juliano, Assistant Commissioner Joel Estolatan, Assistant Commissioner Fortunata Rubico, Assistant Commissioner Lorna Cabochan, Assistant Commissioner Pearl Ramos, Assistant Commissioner Lito Q. Martin, Assistant Commissioner Roy Ursal, Assistant Commissioner Nilda B. Plaras. From the Office of the Ombudsman, Ombudsman Samuel Martires, Deputy Ombudsman Dante F. Vargas, Deputy Ombudsman Jose M. Balmeo Jr., Deputy Secretary Ronald O. Chua, Graft Investigation and Prosecution Officer Jeffrey Ravelo, Director Violeta L. Agustin, Acting Director Christopher B. Lim, Project Evaluation Officer Manolet Eugenio, Planning Officer Francis Gabriel C. Mayoralgo. Also from the Commission on Audit, we have Supervising Auditor Edwina Dolente for the COA and Supervising Auditor Joey I. Bernardino for the Ombudsman. We also have representatives from the DBM, Acting Director Lulu Vispo for the COA, and Acting Director Mary Rose Aguilar for the Ombudsman. That is all, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. May we ask the Ombudsman if they're ready with their presentation?
Yes, you are, Your Honor.
Then go ahead.
I'd like to request Deputy Secretary Ronald Chua to present our budget.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Senator Win Gatchalian, good afternoon, sir. In behalf of the Office of the Ombudsman led by Justice Samuel Martires, we are pleased to present the proposed budget for the agency for fiscal year 2025. The proposed budget by the Department of Budget and Management for the Office of the Ombudsman for fiscal year 2025 is equivalent to about 5.8 billion pesos. It represents about 0.917% of the national expenditure program of the government for fiscal year 2025. Of this amount, next slide please. The 5.8 billion funding proposal could be subdivided into the following: personal services amounting to 3.1 billion, MOE for about 2 billion, and about 515 million pesos for capital outlay for the year 2025. Slide, please. Among the salient features of the funding proposal for next year is the funding requirement for the filling up of positions amounting to about 1.2 billion. Allocation for pension benefits in the amount of about 85 million. Provision for terminal leave in the amount of 72 million and retirement gratuity benefits of approximately 411 million. Additionally, the provision for, next slide please. The provision for additional operating requirements in the total amount of 204 million, including an allocation for a proposed allocation for confidential funds amounting to 51 million. allocation for various capital outlay requirements in the amount of 515 million pesos. Next slide, please. Among the capital outlay requirements are the following: rehabilitation, continuing rehabilitation of the buildings by the agency, ICT requirements, acquisition of motor vehicles, office equipment, furniture, and fixtures, and other communication, medical, and other properties to be used by the Office of the Ombudsman. Be that as it may, while we're thankful for the proposal of the Department of Budget and Management for the said amount, the Office of the Ombudsman is requesting the Senate and the House of Representatives for an additional funding in the amount of about 975 million for fiscal year 2025. This is on account of the intended creation of 62 lawyer positions, which would augment the manpower of the Office of the Ombudsman. This additional manpower would entail a funding requirement of about 557 million for fiscal year 2025. We also intend to put up or establish satellite offices across the country. This initiative would then require an additional 400 million pesos. Finally, we also intend to augment non-legal employees of the Office of the Ombudsman, for which an additional 18 million pesos is intended to be allocated. As in previous years, the budget of the Office of the Ombudsman we would appreciate if the budget for the Office of the Ombudsman would also indicate or would include special provisions which both chambers of Congress had approved for previous years. These are the special provisions on the ongoing authority of the Ombudsman to restructure the office, the use of savings, and the use of income special provisions. That would be all, Madam Chair. Thank you po.
Are you finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. There are some 62 lawyers requests for the additional funding. How many lawyers do you have currently in the Ombudsman? And these lawyers are supposed to provide what particular service?
Your Honor, the Office of the Ombudsman would like to address now the issue of inordinate delay in the investigation of cases. So to address this issue, the office has decided to merge the fact-finding investigation as well as the preliminary investigation, create additional bureaus, and hire additional lawyers. Right now, we're filling up some vacancies. We're hiring about 74 lawyers now, and we have a pending. 79 lawyers, and we have a pending request with the Department of Budget and Management for the creation of an additional of 62 more lawyers. This, I hope, will address this problem of inordinate delay. But I don't think that is only on the matter of administrative aspect insofar as I'm concerned. I would soon request the Senate as well as the House of Representatives that the issue of inordinate delay be defined by law. Because right now, preliminary investigation, which is in criminal cases, is counted in the computation of inordinate delay. At the stage of the preliminary investigation, there is as yet no case to talk about. A case is you can only talk about a case if there is already a pending complaint before the courts. But this has been the easy way out of some courts I'm sorry to say this, but in trying to reduce their dockets, we had been suffering dismissals of cases on the ground of inordinate delay, But if you look at the statutes, these cases that we have filed, this is still within the prescriptive period of the offense committed. Now, if you are really fighting graft and corruption, we only have to talk of inordinate delay with respect to the investigation of the Ombudsman on the administrative aspect of the case, but not on the criminal aspect of the case. Because on the administrative aspect of the case, the Ombudsman is acting as a quasi-judicial body, while during the preliminary investigation, it is exercising an executive function. So this soon we will be asking, we will be filing a proposal for Congress to define what is inordinate delay.
Good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon to the Ombudsman. You mentioned inordinate delay. How many cases in the maybe last 12 months have been dismissed because of this reason?
I have not actually counted the number of cases that had been which were dismissed on the ground of inordinate delay, but this has actually been creating a lot of some kind of disappointment on the part of the investigators, because it is not really easy to investigate violations of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. There is one or several cases that we intend to file. I will not mention the nature of the case or the title of the case. We are expecting that most of these cases might be dismissed by the court on the ground of inordinate delay. But I hope the courts will look deeper into the records of the case, that it is not easy to review about 10,000 pages of documents. We are just anticipating some dismissals on the ground of inordinate delay, but I think my patience is also nearing its I don't want to say na naubusan na rin ako ng pasensya, that if this will continue and the Ombudsman will always look as if it is the kontrabida sa mga investigation of anti-graft cases, I think it is about time I have to speak out and go out to the public and tell the public what is really happening.
Typical case, Ombudsman, how long does it take from the point it's filed to being investigated and to the point that it's once again filed to the Sandigan or to the appropriate courts? A typical time horizon for investigation, just to give us an idea on the complexity as well as the, I would assume, the voluminous records that the department needs to analyze, and not to mention also requesting for records takes time. No? That really takes time, especially in our setup. So just to give us an idea on the time frame or the time element that a typical case undertakes before it gets filed.
When a case is filed, it goes into the case evaluation procedure. Normally, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for the evaluator to evaluate whether the case must be docketed or referred to fact-finding investigation or for case build-up. From case build-up, it takes the investigator sometimes about 6 to 8 months to gather documents and to interview witnesses. While sometimes, or in most cases, there are complaints, the complainant does not attach any single document to the complaint that he filed. And in some instances, there are complainants na pag tinawag, whenever we call them to explain the complaint, ang sinasabi ng complainant lagi sa amin ay bahala na kayo dyan, wala na akong pakialam. If we tell the complainant that soon you might be called as a witness in this case, the complainant will say, I have nothing to do with the case. I already informed you that there is such an anomaly and it's up to you now. So in those cases, we are left in the dark. If there are some verifiable leads, we pursue that. If there are none, then the investigators would request or would recommend for the dismissal of the case or to continue with the case build-up. We want to cut this short because even during preliminary investigation, it takes about a year to complete the preliminary investigation of a case. This is a simple case. But in some cases where there are a lot of respondents, where there are about 10 or more respondents, or even 5 or more respondents, each of the respondents will now be furnished a copy of the complaint. Take the case of Farmally. There were about 20 respondents named, and there are about 10,000 pages of documents. So each of these respondents has to be furnished the 10,000 pages of documents. So reproducing these documents alone will take us time. And each of the respondent now is expected to be asking for time either to secure the services of counsel or to give them time to file their counter affidavits. So talagang, while we want to control, we don't want to be accused of denying them due process. So at best, a complicated case will take the investigators about 2 to 3 years to complete the investigation of the case, Your Honor.
To say, Ombudsman, from the fact-finding process, which is about 6 to 8 months, to the preliminary investigation, which is about a year, that's almost 2 years already, no? So I guess
Your Honor.
we're looking at depending on the complexity, between 2 to 3 years to file a case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. And I also noticed in your budget, and this is connected to the improvement in the pace of investigation, that you requested, the Ombudsman requested from DBM for your general administration and support, 6 billion pesos. And this was reduced by 2 billion pesos, leaving about 4 billion pesos in your budget. Does this include the one that was mentioned earlier to hire 60 plus lawyers so that the pace in which cases will be investigated and filed will improve? Nakita ko ang laki ho ng natapyasan ng DBM eh.
The original proposal of the Ombudsman, which was cut by DBM, included the hiring of additional lawyers and the establishment of satellite offices in different provinces or cities throughout the Philippines. So right now, actually, we have a satellite office in Rojas City. We are in Sulu, in Hulo, Sulu, we have one. We will soon be opening a satellite office in Naga, in Tuguegarao, in Sorsogon, and in Zamboanga City. We'll have also one in General Santos City. This is to bring the ombudsman closer to the people so that for those who intend to apply for clearances, they don't have to go to Manila anymore. They just have to go to the provincial capital building or to the province, to the satellite office of the ombudsman in every province because we intend to put up. Right now, we're just thankful, if I may say this, Your Honor, we're just thankful that the Sia family, the owners of Double Dragon, has given us for free an office space in some of its city malls. In fact, in Pasay City, we also have a satellite office in one of the buildings of the Double Dragon. So medyo libre kami doon, but not in some provinces that there are no city malls.
So, the 62 lawyers, this is the additional request for 975 million to hire 62 lawyers. Is the aim of this is to improve the pace of dispensation or filing of cases.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is the goal.
Yes, Your Honor.
And 62 lawyers, Ombudsman is already enough to cut down, hopefully, the time frame, that 2 to 3 years time frame. Is that adequate enough to reduce the time? Of course, depending on the complexity of the case, no? But on a normal scale, is that enough to already improve the pace of filing of cases, investigation and filing of cases?
Your Honor, the 62 lawyers is only for the central office.
Hmm.
We will also be hiring additional lawyers for the sectoral offices, which is Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, and the military offices. I'm only talking of the 62 insofar as the central office is concerned, where we will be investigating cases in the National Capital Region and those that has been referred to us by the sectoral offices. But we are also hiring lawyers. Actually, this is not included because they are already in the plantilla of the Ombudsman. We're hiring additional lawyers for the sectoral offices, Your Honor, to speed up investigation of cases.
Thank you for the information. And just to guide us to the Ombudsman, just to guide us, may request for just basic statistics. For example, the time frame in which cases are filed, how many pending cases, and then also, if we may request also, what are the wish list of the Ombudsman. I noticed initially it was also mentioned about the 975,000, but what are the other wish lists that the Ombudsman have in mind in order to improve operations? Of course, we do support the operations of the Ombudsman. That we do support the efficient operations of the Ombudsman, considering that one of the most important pillars of our system and our democracy is the function of the Ombudsman. And we do support initiatives that will improve the operations, improve the investigation and the filing of cases. So just to help us with our fund sourcing and, of course, crafting of the budget, may we request for just basic statistics? For example, how many cases are pending? How many cases were dismissed because of inordinate delay? The wish lists that you have in mind to improve operations, and all similar statistics, so that we can use that in our analysis. But thank you, Mr. Ombudsman, for receiving some questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Bato de la Rosa. I have a few questions, Mr. Ombudsman. For the 2025 confidential fund, which is 51.4 million, which is an increase, of course, from the 1 million allocation in 2024. The Ombudsman, again, was, I guess, during the HOR budget deliberation, you mentioned that you would like to remove this confidential fund. I mean, if there are agencies that need confidential funds, I think that the Ombudsman would be one of those that would need it. But in your analysis and your opinion, Ombudsman Martirez, would you need this 51.4 million confidential fund? And have you utilized the 1 million allocation that you had in 2024?
Of course, Your Honor, we need the 51 million. But as I said, there are other investigating agencies who need this money more than us. If you can give us the same amount that you gave us last year for 2024, the 1 million, that would be very sufficient for us, Your Honor.
So you were able to utilize the 1 million last year?
Yes, Your Honor.
I would like to also ask our Ombudsman, I think that for 2023, you reached an impressive conviction rate of 73.4%, from just 31% in 2022. So which means that 1,600 criminal and civil cases last year and a total of 1,200 cases resulted. But there was just one conviction, at least, of the accused. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And may I ask who was accused?
(2023) I forgot, Your Honor.
But we only have one conviction.
For that particular year, yes, Your Honor.
Also together with the request of Senator Gatchalian, may we also ask for the conviction rates or the number of convictions that you've had. As of 2024, the conviction rate for criminal and civil cases is just at 48.51, with only 114 cases with conviction out of 235. But still, I mean, given the background that you mentioned, the investigation, reading of documents numbering 10,000, we realize also what the difficulty is and the additional manpower needed to increase this conviction rates. I would like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Lauren Legarda. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, and to our friends from the COA and the Ombudsman and all the other officials. Thank you.
Sir, I think that you recommended now the filing of graft cases for Parmali in particular. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did the preliminary investigation.
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
So
But
this is
the case,
yeah.
one case of Farmally, which is the fund transfer, is now with the Sandigan Bayan. But the other case, which we filed before the Regional Trial Court under Section 3E, which is manifest partiality, was dismissed by the judge. And we just filed a motion for reconsideration on the dismissal of the case by the judge.
So just to understand, sir, the Ombudsman doesn't actually decide on these cases. You just recommend to either the Sandigan Bayan or the other courts, or do you have administrative cases that you also convict?
With respect to the criminal cases that we investigate, we file the complaint or the information that we call either before the Sandigan Bayan or with the Regional Trial Court. With respect to the administrative cases, we make a decision. Which decision now is appealable to the Court of Appeals, Your Honor?
Thank you for the clarity, Ombudsman. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Jinggoy Estrada. maybe one of the biggest concerns now in many departments is digitalization. May I ask again how much your budget is for digitalization and what we plan to accomplish with this? After which I will open the floor for questionings also from our other colleagues.
The proposal is 474 million, Your Honor. I'd like to inform Your Honor that the Ombudsman is in the process of computerization and in the process of improving its information technology system. During the pandemic, I discovered that the system of the Ombudsman, the case information system of the Ombudsman was hacked. It was then that I discovered that our firewall was administered by the very company that supplied us our firewall. So with that, we filed administrative cases against some responsible employees of the Office of the Ombudsman. We found out that from the time that the case is being investigated, this has been monitored by about 3 or 4 persons that are probably identified with the supplier of the firewall. So we got in touch with the government of Estonia through its ambassador. We sought for assistance and they referred to us one of its companies. They reviewed our system and we are now planning to go into a government-to-government contract with Estonia. They proposed to us about 1.6 million euro.
Why Estonia in particular, sir?
Well, Estonia is one of the leading countries with respect to IT, Your Honor.
So it's only 1.6 million euros
Yes, Your Honor.
for the DICT. Actually, that doesn't sound too much. I mean, when you think about actually overhauling the system and protecting information, but as long as it went through the proper bidding, I suppose, or this is a G2G.
If we go through the proper bidding, other bidders will participate. So we will not be assured that it will be the government of Estonia who will be helping us put up the system, as well as help us create our own firewall, Your Honor.
So this is just a direct negotiation with the government of Estonia.
A direct negotiation, but right now we're working for a government-to-government contract. We have just gotten in touch with the Department of Foreign Affairs with respect to these matters, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ombudsman.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I acknowledged you already. Anyone with questions for our Ombudsman?
Madam Chair, I don't have any questions. I recall that it was around for 5 years that I chaired the budget of the Ombudsman, and I give full support to the budget of the Ombudsman. Everything is in order as always. And I recall it was during my tenure when we provided capital outlay for the building of the Ombudsman. I hope they're able to use the funds, and I give my full support for the budget. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Lauren Legarda. Maybe there's a feedback on the capital outlay that was given by our generous Vice Chairperson.
It's not my money, it's government.
I know, but
Yes.
approved by our generous chairperson, Vice Chairperson.
The capital outlay, the money provided for the building of the Ombudsman was used in the construction of the building in Rosales, Pangasinan, Your Honor, and the sectoral office of the Ombudsman in Cebu City.
Thank you. Anyone else? Manifestation of support?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon to our hardworking Finance Committee Chairperson, Madam Senator Grace Poe, to my fellow colleagues, and to the Ombudsman family under the able and competent leadership of Honorable former Justice Samuel Reyes Martinez. This representation is in support of the budget of the Office of the Ombudsman for the fiscal year 2025. Wala po akong kaso na sa inyo, ha? The agency's pursuit of its vision to realize public accountability, expectations, and mission to transform public accountability into the norm and recognized as the central corruption prevention arm of the government needs to continue as the protector of the people from illegal, unjust, improper, or inefficient act of any public official, employee, office, or agency. Under the qualified and capable leadership of Ombudsman Martinez, the vision and mission of the Office of the Ombudsman is within reach. To be able to achieve this, the office must be duly supported by an efficient and equitable budget. With this representation is in full support of the Office of the Ombudsman budget for the fiscal year 2025 and any additional budget this committee may adopt. Madam Chair, can I be recognized to yield some clarificatory questions? Thank you, Madam Chair. The Office of the Ombudsman requested for a total budget of 8.4 billion. However, only 5.7 billion was recommended by the DBM in the fiscal year 2025 budget, an amount that is 2.7 billion or 32.5% lower than the original request. Sir, what programs of your office will be affected by the reduction of your requested budget?
Well, the hiring of additional lawyers and the computerization of the office will greatly be affected by the reduction. But I'll be honest, if Congress cannot find any money to increase the 5.8 given by DBM, what can we do, Your Honor? But we are asking for an increase at least of about 900 million, Your Honor, if it is possible. But if not, if there are other more important projects of the government that you need to fund, then we're willing to, to give way to them. After all, we have savings also to spend, Your Honor.
So how badly do you need the increase, sir?
Very badly, Your Honor. The 975 million that you are requesting is an increase. We need it very badly.
Well, with that, maybe we can recommend the increase of the budget of the Ombudsman, since there are a lot of people who will be affected by the decrease of the budget of the Office of the Ombudsman. Maybe we can recommend the chairperson of the Finance Committee to increase, kahit konti, increase natin yung budget ng Ombudsman. Inulit ko po, wala po akong kaso sa inyo. Second question, sir. How many cases does the Ombudsman handle in a year?
I could only think of the cases before the Sandigan Bayan, which is very few, because most of the cases since 2014, I guess, when Republic Act 10660 was passed, most of the cases were filed with the regional trial courts, and the one handling these cases are the public prosecutors of the Department of Justice, Your Honor. And we don't have... Yeah. We don't have the exact figures, but according to the other officers, we have about 4,000 cases now pending before the courts.
And last question, sir. In the case of former Mayor Alice Go, bakit hindi po na-under sa ombudsman yung kaso? Di ba dapat sa Sandigan Bayan? Can you please enlighten this representation? She being a public official, why did it not fall sa Sandigan Bayan?
Um, is it okay, Your Honor, if I discuss this in private with you or with the other members of the other senators? I don't want to be divulging some secrets that the accused, the lawyers of the accused might be using against us. So I'd rather not discuss this matter in public, or I might be able to say things that, might help the accused in their defense.
I respect it, sir.
Thank you, Senator. We understand, of course, the point of our ombudsman. There are certain things about the cases we don't want to preempt. So feel free, Senator Estrada, to meet with the ombudsman to clarify your query. Senator De La Rosa has a question.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. Before I ask a very, very small question, I just would like to manifest my support sa budget ng Ombudsman at ng noon, marami. No, meron ako noon. Madam Chair, sir, I just would like to know kung yung Ombudsman Mindanao, Ombudsman Visayas, are they allowed to issue ombudsman clearance for people from government who will be seeking for promotions and appointments, or centralized pa rin yung ombudsman clearance niyo dito sa Manila?
All the deputy ombudsmans are authorized, the sectoral offices, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, and the military and other law enforcement offices, they are authorized to issue clearances, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. How about Mulio, sir? Kasi may mga, like may case, no? Pulis ako ng Mindanao. Tapos ang Mulio andito lang sa, di ba? Dito lang sa Batasan. Hindi ba pwedeng makakuha sila doon sa Ombudsman Mindanao ng clearance? With the advent of technology, pwede naman siguro sila makakuha doon ng clearance dahil pwede naman, computerized naman lahat.
Pwede po, Your Honor. They can apply, yung mga police officers sa Mindanao can go to Davao City and apply for clearance kasi centralized na yung system namin eh. And once we will be able to put up satellite offices in every province and city, major cities, hindi na rin nila kailangan pumunta ng Davao in the case of Mindanao. Oras na nagkaroon kami ng satellite offices sa Zamboanga, sa Bukidnon, sa Jensan, hindi na sila kailangan pumunta sa Davao to apply for a clearance. Sa ngayon, yung mga taga-Hulo ay hindi kailangan pumunta ng Zamboanga o ng Davao para mag-apply ng clearance. We have a satellite office now in Hulo, Sulu. Kasi nagawa na namin ng remedyo na centralized na yung aming clearance system, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Experience ko kasi noon na talagang pupunta ka pa dito para kumuha ng clearance. At saka yung resolve nyo ng cases, sir, mabilis na ba ngayon?
Medyo mabilis na rin ho. Depende ho sa cooperation po ng parties, especially the lawyers. Depende rin ho sa complainant. Kung yung complainant ay nakahanda magbigay sa amin ng ebidensya, medyo mabilis ho ang aming investigasyon. Marami yung cases ang sandali lang ho namin na natatapos yung investigasyon. Katulad ng kaso ni Alice Go, sandali lang ho namin na natapos yung investigasyon doon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that. With that, Madam Chair, I would like to again manifest for my support to the budget of the Office of the Ombudsman. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator.
Madam Chair, I move that we terminate the proceedings of the budget hearing of the Office of the Ombudsman and recommend it to the plenary.
I second the motion and give full support to the budget of the Office of the Ombudsman. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Before I close, I would like to appeal to the Ombudsman for clearances. Anyway, you'll be developing your DICT capability. Yun nga, just like what the Supreme Court's doing, minsan naghihiring sila in tawi-tawi with the use of a satellite transmission. Baka pwede na rin na kahit na online na lang yung yun nga lang, just to verify the individual well, baka pwede na rin online na lang yung application for simple clearances, obviously. But with that, again, also full support for the budget of the Ombudsman. Thank you, Ombudsman Martinez and the team for your presence here today. Your budget is deemed submitted. Thank you.
Actually, Your Honor, mayroon na kaming online din ngayon sa clearances. At katunayan, mas mabilis na nga ngayon na i-issue yung clearance sa mga nag-a-apply ng online. Kaysa yung nag-a-apply na nagbibigay sa amin ng hard copy. Mas mabilis na ko ngayon na i-issue yung clearance sa online applications.
And that's good news. Okay, so again, your budget of the Ombudsman is now deemed submitted. Congratulations.
Thank you, Your Honors.
Okay, we shall now begin with our hearing for the Commission on Audit. May I ask the ones from the Ombudsman, you may now leave the session hall. Ano ba tawag dito? Thank you very much. Welcome again to the Commission on Audit. Parang nalilito ako, parang naiisip ko, NTC pa rin pero iba na to. Okay. Are you ready with your presentation? Yeah, go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Senator Grace po, Chairman of the Committee on Finance, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Loren Legarda, Senator De La Rosa. Good afternoon. May I request that ASCOM Nila Plaras be allowed to present the budget for the Office of the Commission on Audit. Thank you very much.
Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon po sa ating lahat. I'm now presenting the proposed budget of the Commission on Audit for fiscal year 2024-25 under the National Expenditure Program. So we have a budget of 13,417,340,000 pesos. And this comprised of the personal services of 11.5 billion, maintenance and other operating expenses for 0.754 billion, and capital outlay for 0.111 billion. Also, the retirement and life insurance premium of 1.045 billion. So we have the comparative data of the fiscal 2025 NEP versus the proposal of COA for fiscal year 2025. The NEP is lower by 5% or in amount of 0.670 billion decrease. For personal services, there is a 0.17% increase. For the MOOE, we have 23.05 decrease. And the capital outlay, we have a decrease of 462.83%. And the composition of this MOE that were not considered are the operational cost of the 7 newly completed operational provincial satellite auditing offices, and the semi-expendable ICT items and software subscription. For the capital outlay, the following were not considered. We have the construction of storage or records building for each of the 9 completed PISAW, construction of 2 PISAWs in Cavite and Aklan, and other structures, which is the retrofitting of Region 12, and restoration and repair works of offices in the central office, and the ICT equipment and software. So that's all for the budget of the Commission on Audit.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll open the floor now for questions. Senator Gatchalian.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, not so much of questions, but appreciation and thanks. And I mentioned this in one of our hearings, that we take the COA reports very seriously in the budget hearings. In fact, there were a lot of revelations that we expound on during the hearings because of the COA reports. So the COA reports became a vital tool and instrument for all of us in order to scrutinize the budgets of the different departments. And we truly appreciate COA for publishing and making the reports available through the internet or through online means, and making it also in a format that is very easy for us to use. No? Dati ho kasi, just to give an example, the formats will be in picture form, and it's very difficult for us to scan, to search, to download. It's a very tinitingnan ko yun, Madam Chair. No? Serious, tinitingnan ho namin yun. That's why I just want to tell you that ako personally, I look at those reports as well, no? Because I'm sure you know, when it's in picture form, it's very difficult to search, di ba? Hirap mag-search yun eh. So what we do is it's either we type it again or we use a different software to analyze it, no? So let me thank COA for making those reports available, and not only available but making it and publishing it on time. Importante rin ho yung on time, and especially before the budget season, because during the budget season, these reports become very important tools for us to use in order to further analyze the budget. And sabi nga ni Sen Binay that the reports are also reader friendly, no, because we can use it and analyze it. So that's also very important. That's basically it, Madam Chair, no? And kung tingin niyo wala ho nagbabasa ng report ng COA, ako ho binabasa ko yung report ng COA. Makapal lang nga ho minsan hindi na ho ako natutulog, pero that just goes to show that we put value in the work of your team. And I know in one report, like for example po in one of our hearings in Gaspe, the subsidies being given to private schools, I know there's a team who undertook the special audit of that fund, and it's not only one person but the entire team, no? So I don't want the audit report to be useless and end up not nobody reading it. So we put a lot of importance in that report. I personally read the entire report. Mahaba lang nga, no? But that's kasama yan sa trabaho. Just to give you an example that these reports are very important to us legislators, especially in analyzing the bill, or also in analyzing policy. That particular example that I made is to analyze policy, whether the policy is effective or not. No? So once again, Madam Chair, I just want to express my appreciation to the COA team for their hard work and also for the reports that they produce. Sana ho ipagpatuloy ho natin yung on time, online, and as well as readable. Sabi nga ni Senator Binay. So maraming salamat po.
Madam Chair, thank you. I just would like to manifest my support for the budget of COA. Every time kasi makita ko yung mukha ni COA chairperson, iniisip ko palagi NTC. Kaya humuntik na akong magkamali na NTC yung susuportahan ko, COA na pala. Alam naman natin na very hardworking at talagang mapagkatiwalaan yung ating chairperson ng COA, si Chairperson Gamaliel Cordoba. So my full support, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Actually, I'd like to say that it seems like you found your best calling, Chairperson Lel. Parang fish in the water ka talaga dito sa COA. Imagine just a little over a year, yun nga, yung formatting is better and on time. And I've noticed, apparently even in the hearings of the HOR, talagang reference yung audit report. And I may not be as diligent when it comes to reading COA reports as Senator Gatchalian, but I would like to reiterate his statement and agree, and I fully agree with it, that what you're doing should really be appreciated by all of us. Actually, we should make it a practice to really look at it. It's not in vain that you prepare these things. This is also for the public to be able to review, right? I mean, this is available for public scrutiny. So, anyway, thank you and congratulations. Normally, pag tayo sa NTC, daming problema. Pero dito, parang pag maayos ang COA, syempre, lahat ng mga departamento na didisiplina. Diba? Kasi doon naman talaga yung Senator Binay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tayo pa din ay full support pero I have just a few questions. Well, unang-una maraming salamat kasi Chairman, nilabas niyo na yung guidelines for social media campaigns of na magiging guide kung paano yung mga different agencies pag meron silang campaign using social media. May auditing, may guidelines na on how they can do that. So, maraming salamat po. And alam naman ho natin ngayon na we just passed itong government procurement. Yung COA ho ba ay inuumpisahan nyo na, I assume na may magkakaroon ng changes dun sa pag-audit nyo because of this new procurement process. Inuumpisahan nyo na ho ba maglabas kung ano nga itong magiging bagong guidelines?
Good afternoon po.
May
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Thank you. Before po I answer the question of Senator Binay, I would just like to say na actually yun naman pong production po ng COA is not me. It's actually the whole team. Nung pumasok po ako sa Commission on Audit, I noticed that the people are very hardworking and ano po sila, very conscientious. You don't have to follow up, you don't have to push them. Talaga pong ginagawa po nila yung kanilang trabaho. And I think it has a long time already. What we're doing lang po right now, technology po, ma'am. So with regard po to the question of Senator Binay, right now po hindi pa po siya na-implement because there's a particular period po na we still use 9184. So po we're taking our cue from the DBM and the procurement office kapag ka po magpatawag na po sila ng implementing sa paggawa po ng implementing rules and regulations. We will definitely be helping them and supporting them. Right now po we have a pending bill, Senate bill na po dito sa Senate, which is the ano po ito yung pong amendment of the audit code. So it's being heard po with the chairperson, Senator Robin Padilla, and we are making strides po to finish it. So I think before the break po, we will come up with the final draft of the bill. Yun naman po ang next na gagawin.
Yung bill ho na yan, complementary na rin dun sa new procurement.
Yes, ma'am. Ano po, we are putting it together para po yung pong ibang laman po ng Procurement Act ay masasalo na po namin.
Pero kung hindi pa ho namin mapasa tong bill nyo, wala naman ho, hindi naman madedelay dun pagdating ko dun sa procurement.
Hindi naman po, ma'am. Hindi naman.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yun pong, if there are any conflicts, for example, we can issue a memo circular naman po to answer or clarify ito pong mga matters na kailangan pong bigyan ng linaw. Salamat.
And then, nabanggit niyo ho yung digitalization. Parang a few months ago, Madam Chair, I was able to visit yung office, yung new office ng Ayala dyan sa Ayala Triangle. So, in the private sector ho, ang ano nila ngayon ay off-site na yung documents. 'Di ba? Parang hindi na uso yung isang katutak na filing cabinet sa opisina kasi unang-una hindi value for money ang mahal per square meter, 'di ba? So meron silang warehouse sa Laguna na lahat ng documents doon naka-store. Tapos at any given time meron silang software, may technology sila na at any given time pag gusto mong i-retrieve yung file, yung hard copy, pwede. Sa COA ho ba, napag-aaralan nyo na yung ganyang system and can, for example, LGUs and other government agencies shift to that type of system? Dahil alam naman nun natin, di ba, may mga dokumento na kailangan nyo for auditing purposes. So, ang mga opisina ngayon talagang nagsustor pa rin ng hard copy.
Thank you for that question, Madam Chair. Actually po, it is in the mandate of the Commission on Audit to keep the documents po ng ating auditees for 10 years. Kaya po it's really a challenge for us. 10 years po dapat. So, ang balak na lang po namin is gawin po yan because sometimes po, ang aming problem is for pending cases, kailangan po yung hard copy which can be used for which is used actually for the cases as evidence. So, si Ascom Lorna will add some details po on that.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. And Madam Chair, the Commission on Audit has already taken baby steps of the digitalization of our working papers or the reports that are being submitted to us. So in the central office right now, we have a system that will already, those documents that are submitted to us can be scanned and they can be electronically stored, that whenever they would want to audit anywhere, they can already conduct the audit. So we are on our baby steps now, and also po we are introducing also the Mikael project, which was not approved, where the agencies can already submit their data through that platform. So, you know, as it is, the technology right now is also very sensitive as we are after the security of this data. So in our ISSP po, we have already designed on this. We already projected this. We have our concept on this. And we are little by little accomplishing it. In fact, we have already enhanced our infrastructure with the regional offices so that we can easily be connected with the central office po.
So ito yung hindi na-grant sa inyo ng DBM? Partly.
Opo, part po, Your Honor.
Sige po, Madam Chair, maybe at the proper time. Actually, napapansin ko nga ho even dun sa budget ho ng ibang ahensya, parang laging tinatamaan yung ICT program. So, I mean, how do we digitalize if we don't fund yung ganitong mga projects? Dahil, di ba parang nakaano to, 5 years ba to? Or 3 years. So kung hindi
Yes
nyo
po.
popondohan yung second year, madedelay yung implementation. And I assume, pag na-delay din yung funding, yung nasabit nyo na ICT plan nyo, baka by that time mabigyan kayo ng pondo, hindi na siya, obsolete na siya, hindi na, there's a new technology or a new software na pwedeng gamitin. So siguro yan yung dapat din tingnan natin dito sa budget season, yung itong ICT projects, not just of COA but of the other agencies. Yun lang po, Madam Chair. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Actually, with the proliferation of AI, one thing is when documents from, let's say, a government agency or local government is submitted to you, let's say online, okay, maybe aside from the human review or the of the submitted documents, you can have an objective AI review also of the documents based on certain uh, provisions that are put in. Kasi, kunyari, no, AI finds a discrepancy here. That's actually a non-subjective review. But of course, there's that human part also kasi there are certain conditions that also have to be considered that maybe AI won't be able to see. And the reason why I bring this up is it so that there's also a certain, di ba, sometimes when there's less human intervention, it's less, I guess, room for undue influence. So, have we studied that? That, for example, something is submitted that it's analyzed by AI, or do we have a proposed project for something like this?
Ma'am, yeah. Right now po kasi we're still using the hard copy, which is the originals of the submissions of all the agencies. But ASCOM Lorna will expound on the use of that software.
Yes, Madam Chair. As we are on the steps right now scanning the documents, we are still in the process of exploring the AI technology. And in fact, the Mikael project that was not included in the budget, ito po yung konsepto that we're trying to work on. But, we've got really to explore it on how we can embed into our internal systems of getting the data or the documents that are being submitted to us.
How much
po.
was given to you already for this digitalization project or computerization? Kasi sabi mo partially funded.
For the ICT equipment and software for the Mikael is 4.216 po.
Million?
Opo.
Magkano yung kailangan nyo, yung request?
Yun po ang was not considered.
4 million lang?
For the Micaela, may IT infrastructure then for 52 million.
Ayun. Okay. So kung binigyan kayo ng, 4.2 million na bigay na sa inyo, hindi pa?
Not considered po.
Okay.
Plus 52.
Okay. Pag binigay sa inyo yung 4.2 million, ano yung magagawa niyan? Kasi 52 million yung infrastructure nyo eh.
Plus 52 po, ma'am. Plus.
Anong magkano nga yung nabigay? Yun yung tinatanong namin.
Nabigay. Sandali lang po. Um, 63.561 po million.
63 yung nabigay na sa inyo?
Opo. It was considered.
Malaki na yon. 63 million na yung nabigay sa inyo.
Opo.
Ang total project cost is how much?
Sila ASCOM.
Ano ba to? May 52 million, may 63 million, may 4.216 which is disallowed. Kindly clarify. Kasi malaki itong 63 kung 4.2 na lang yung hindi nabibigay sa inyo.
Madam Chair, yung pong 63 million was used for the infrastructure of the regional offices. They need to upgrade po kasi so that consistent po or what you call, pare-parehas po kami ng infrastructure. Yung Mikael project po is a project that will let audited agencies to upload po yung kanilang data. So this is also in line of the acceptability of online documents po.
Okay, the 63 million to upgrade infrastructure of regional offices in terms of ICT. Okay,
Yes,
the
Madam
63 million is part of the Mikael project.
Mikael project is one project that will support the other internal systems that we have.
Okay, so with the 63 million, kulang pa yon para makapag-upload sila kasi kailangan pa ninyo ng additional 4.2 million. Yun na lang?
May 52 pa po, ma'am.
52.
So 56. Opo, ma'am.
Ano yung
Yung
4.
ICT kasi ma'am, dalawa yon. Mikael na 4.26, then IT infrastructure in COA Pisaus, which is 52 million. So total of 56 po. Hindi na consider po.
56 ang hindi na consider.
Apo.
Okay. Bakit Mikael ang tawag?
And the
Boyfriend ba
data
boyfriend ba ng
analytics,
IT nyo si Mikael o paano ba yan? Is it an acronym?
yes, it's machine learning.
Intelligence, knowledge-based audit and experience learning po ang acronym.
Okay. Machine? Talagang
Knowledge-based
pinilit ha? Okay. Very good. Okay. Okay. Sige. Okay, one last question. For you to be able to do your jobs, you have to be unbiased. You also have to be courageous, as well as competent, obviously. So I'd like to know more about the report on the safety of our COA auditors, because there are certain places, I suppose, that may be resistant to an audit. Have you encountered such resistance, or are you continuing to encounter that?
Thank you po, Madam Chair. Actually, we experienced that up to now. But I won't mention the details anymore, Madam Chair. So what we do is, for example, in a particular place, there is some resistance. What we do is we just get the documents and bring it to a safer area with the help of the PNP and the military. So we just bring it somewhere else, and that's where we do the audit po, with the security po of the AFP and the PNP. So we do that.
Actually, this is also why we feel the IT infrastructure is so important, because the submissions can be done that way. And then also, in certain areas, so that it doesn't become personal, we can send something like the preliminary evaluation of your submission is such and such. And this is without any human intervention. So that if the person in charge will actually do a double audit, pwedeng makita kung saan nagkulang yung AI or saan naglabis, di ba? Hindi natin masasabi na, hindi kasi inayos na yan eh. Kasi meron din tayong basis, di ba? And at the same time, hindi na nila pwedeng sabihin na pinapersonal sila kasi nga may standard or may template for all. So, I'm supportive of this. I hope we can find the fiscal space to fund this. But again, congratulations to...
One last na lang dun sa
Go ahead.
Mikael. Yung ano ho ba, yung magsasubmit, kailangan din nila mag-procure ng system. Like for example, kunwari kami dito sa Senate. So Senate has to get that, fund that type of system para maging in sync dun sa system.
yes, Your Honor. Kailangan po kasi meron din technology that will let the auditee upload the documents po.
Pero ini-inform niya na din ho yung
Yes
kunyari,
po.
na event na you eventually you have to invest on this type of technology because
Yes
may
po.
ganong information dissemination.
Yes po, we have already relayed to our auditees the requisites of that particular system po.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, wala na naman tayo sa next budget. So, hindi, kasi parang yung mga, like for example, Senate, Congress, they need to have that Mikael para mabato nila sa COA. So, dapat in the next year's, I don't know, baka 26 budget, naka-incorporate na magpo-procure sila ng ganyang system.
Pero software lang naman yan, di ba? For each of this, ano. Okay. So maybe if you can submit to us, let's say you get this, Mikael. Who is your provider, by the way? Because the Ombudsman, as you heard, di ba? Estonia yan eh. Yeah. Ito ba sino?
All our internal systems po are being customized by our IT programmers, and we're very lucky that we have competent programmers. However, the technology that surrounds them, like the firewall, the integrated system on how they could, the operating system are really outsourced po. May bidding po talaga dyan. but yung sistema po is customized or internally developed by our IT programmers.
May details naman kayo sa submission dun sa 50 plus million kung magkano. Kasi kaya niyo to put it together, but then you still have to subscribe to certain services as well as applications, di ba? May licensing din yan. So anyway, sige, pero ilan ba yung IT nyo? Ba't buti pa kayo? Meron kayong ganyan.
We have an IT office po that consists of 67 employees. Varied po yun. And we normally po send them sa mga seminars that will really enhance. And when we have the technology po or yung software, normally po nasa contract namin, there should be a transfer of technology and how to maintain. And minsan naman po, subscription naman po yun, Your Honor. So, ano na lang.
Baka naman dinala ni Commissioner, ni Chairperson Lel, galing sa NTC lahat ng mga IT niyan.
Ay, hindi po.
Then, local.
Dati na po.
Nag-motion na si Sen Bato, tsaka si... Okay.
Second dala ko rin. Second.
Second tayong lahat. Wala pa?
Madam
Okay.
Chair, I move to approve the budget of the Commission on Audit.
I second the motion, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
The budget of the Commission on Audit is hereby deemed submitted. Congratulations to Chairperson Lel and to the COA team. Thank you for your service.